Hey guys, so for today's video I'm going to be doing a 3D ice cream cone design, and everything in this video is going to be sculpted out of Trippy Gel from Nails by Dev. I'm not painting anything on, or well, I do paint something on at the end, but for the most part everything is sculpted out of Trippy Gel, so the entire set is going to be 3D. I decided to go with these short stiletto tips, obviously because I'm doing ice cream cones, and while there are, I think it's like the sugar cones are kind of more of like a rounded square type of shape. If you get like a waffle cone, then obviously that's going to be more pointed at the end, and that's kind of what I was going for with this set, so that's why I went with the stiletto tips. And for the cone part, I'm mixing together the brown and the nude Trippy Gels to get that sort of cone color, because on their own, like, the brown was too dark but the nude was too light, but mixed together they make like the perfect cone color. And this Trippy Gel is super easy to mix together. It blends very nicely. I do have another brand that I have of like sculpting gels that I have used previously that were a little difficult to mix together and create different shades. After I got that mixed together, I'm just going to stick that right on to the nail. I did originally take the entire chunk that I had mixed together and stuck that onto the nail, but as you can see here, that was way too much for this nail, so I did end up breaking off a little piece and then sticking that onto the nail and flattening out and forming it into that like cone shape. I wasn't really focusing too much on how it looked up towards like the middle of the nail, the opening part of the cone, I guess you could say, because that is going to get covered up later on with more Trippy Gel that is going to create the ice cream scoop that is on top. After I got it all flattened out and in the shape and in place of how I wanted it, I took an X-Acto knife and created those little like indents on the cone. So I went diagonally one way and then diagonally the other way to create like those crisscross shapes, and then after I got that how I wanted it, I cured it for 60 seconds. And because I am using these 3D sculpting gels in this video, I have to give my warning that I give every single time I use 3D sculpting gels. Please always wear gloves when handling this stuff. If you are anticipating using this with your hands and sculpting with your hands, wear gloves, because you're going to end up developing an allergy. And when you develop these allergies to like any acrylate, whether it's Hema or a different type of acrylate, you cannot get rid of this allergy. It doesn't go away. You can't get certain dental work done. You can't get certain surgeries done. You can't use certain everyday products because there are acrylates in just normal everyday products. It is going to affect your life for the rest of your life and make things more difficult for you. And it's not just, oh, you can't do nails anymore. It extends farther beyond that. So please, please, please always wear gloves if you plan on sculpting anything out with your hands. Even if a product does say it's Hema free or it says it's non-stick, you can still develop an allergy. Hema is the #1 cause for allergies, but there are other acrylates within gel products that do cause allergies as well. And I know the main excuse is, well, it's too sticky and it sticks to my gloves. Maybe try using a different sculpting gel. Some sculpting gels are more sticky than others. This Nails by Dev Here one is really good, I feel like, and it's not super sticky. You can also wet your gloves with alcohol to prevent the sticking. I know that can be a little tedious and a little annoying to have to keep re-wetting your gloves, but anything to protect yourself and your health is worth it. And now that my rant is over and I didn't get to explain fully what I was doing there, I will explain it with this nail right here. So I am going to do like a cotton candy ice cream flavor for this nail. That other nail I was doing a cookies and cream flavor, so that's why it was just the plain white trippy gel that I used. Since this is the cotton candy, I'm using the light pink and the light blue and just kind of squishing those together to marble them a little bit. Not doing it so much that they completely mix and turn purple, but enough to where you get the blue and the pink kind of marbled throughout each other. After I get that mixed up a little bit, I take that little bit that I had mixed up, smush that down onto the nail, and form it to create like that ice cream scoop shape. Once I get that in place, I do roll out another little piece in like a log shape and lay that across the bottom of the ice cream scoop, and then I take my tweezers and I like pinch and pull and poke at that to create like that effect that if you scoop the ice cream and like scoop it onto the cone, that like flared smushy bit. I don't know how to explain that, but you can see like what I'm doing and like what I'm trying to do there. So I just kind of poke at it and pinch it and pull it until it looks how I want it to look. And then once I get all that done and how I want my ice cream scoop to look, I do stick it in my lamp and cure it for 60 seconds. And I do just want to mention that that first blob of gel that I laid down is not cured before I stick on the little strip here, so that is still wet. From my first ice cream scoop that I did, I learned to create a longer strip rather than a shorter strip. Otherwise, I'm going to have to add on a little bit more, which realistically isn't that big of a deal because I am poking at it and pulling at it and everything. So it all blends together, but it's just a lot easier to add more and take off that little bit of extra rather than to have to add on some more. So for this ice cream flavor, I don't know what it's called, but I remember when I lived in Missouri, we have a Six Flags there, and I would go every summer. I would even go like in the fall for Fright Fest and everything. We would get season passes every year, and we would go like all the time. And the little ice cream shop that is there had this flavor, and I never knew what flavor it was because it was never a flavor I got. When it comes to ice cream, I really only kind of like vanilla ice cream. I'm not really a huge fan of any other flavor. I will do like a cookies and cream or cookie dough occasionally. Definitely not chocolate. I'm not a chocolate fan like at all, which is actually kind of ironic because my number one favorite ice cream flavor is Chubby Hubby from Ben & Jerry's, and it does have chocolate in it, but it's like a small amount of chocolate that I can like tolerate. I just don't like a whole lot of chocolate or like super chocolatey flavors. But anyhow, I would always see this flavor there, and I thought it was really pretty because like the blue and the yellow and the red, and it was always so bright and colorful. So I wanted to include that in this one. If you couldn't tell, I am doing like realistic type of ice cream flavors here. So I have the cookies and cream and the cotton candy, and this one, whatever this flavor was called. Usually when you see people doing ice cream cones or like ice cream nails, they always just do like pastel colors. So they'll do like a pastel blue or purple or pink. And I wanted to be different and do like real ice cream flavors for this set. So yeah, like I said, I have no idea what this flavor is called, but I do like the colors of it. It's really fun. And I didn't mention this earlier, and honestly, I never mentioned this in any of my videos where I'm doing press-ons, but if you do plan on wearing these nails, like if you're doing press-ons yourself, or even if you're doing them on yourself, you do want to make sure you have prepped your nails properly. Otherwise, you do run the risk of the design popping right off, or if you're using gel polish, it could peel right off. As you know, gel sticks to a rougher surface a little better than a smooth surface. So going right on top of these press-ons that I do, it does run the risk of them peeling off, but I don't wear them. They're not made for anyone to wear either. If they were, I definitely would take the time to prep the tip, whether it be etching it with my e-file or a hand file, or chemically etching with primer. I would do that first, and with this set I would have laid down a base coat because I feel like 3D sculpting gel sticks better to a sticky surface rather than a non-sticky surface. So like I said, if you do plan on wearing these, make sure you do all your proper prep and everything, as well as if you do any of the other designs that I have done on press-ons, make sure you're prepping the nails properly. Otherwise, you may run the risk of your design peeling straight off of that full cover tip. The flavor for this nail is mint chocolate chip, so I just took the white and the neon green trippy gel and mixed those two together to get a nice like minty pastel green. There is a darker green that you can get from Nails by Dev, but I felt like the darker green wasn't going to give me that like minty color. I felt like the neon green was going to give me that minty color, so that's why I used the neon green versus the other green that you can get. And low-key, this nail had me worried because I did have to mix up that color. That when I did that little strip there at the bottom, I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to color match it very well. And if you know me, I always say to mix up more than what you need, but I don't know, I wasn't thinking about that at all when I did this. I was just like, let me get what I need mixed up for the actual scoop part, and then I completely forgot about this little strip that I needed at the bottom. But thankfully I was able to mix it up and match it pretty much almost exactly. Like, to me, it looks like it's an exact match. There may be a slight difference in the colors, but honestly, you really can't tell, especially because this part is super textured, so it all just blends together and it looks like it matches. The flavor for this nail is Neapolitan, or however you say it. And this nail also low-key kind of scared me because I was doing the 3 different colors and they had to be separate but also like blend into each other. So to do this, I just took a little small amount of each color, starting with the pink, laid that down how I wanted it. Then I did the white and then the brown. And then after I got those down, I did kind of pat them down a little bit and then use a brush dipped in alcohol to kind of help blend them together a little bit and smooth out the like ridges from where they are connected at and make it look like one scoop instead of being 3 different pieces. And then once I got that how I wanted it, I for the little strip there at the bottom, I basically did the same thing where I started with the little piece of pink, then a little piece of white, and a little piece of brown, and I didn't smooth those out or like try to blend those together because I am going in with the tweezers and then going to, you know, pinch and pull at that. So that will help blend them together. And then once I got that all done, I did cure for 60 seconds. So after I got all of the little ice creams done, I noticed that there was a lot of overhang on the back of the nails. So I took my e-file and just filed that down and kind of went around, made sure there was no more overhang. I also would go around some of the scoops and like the cones to make sure everything was like in place and smooth and it wasn't like super lumpy and bumpy, especially on that last nail that I did with the 3 different colors. There was a lot of filing I had to do on that because I had to, you know, kind of smooth out and blend those 3 colors together a little more. And as you can see, I didn't pull out my dust collector for this because in my mind I was like, oh, it's only going to be a little bit of filing and there's not going to be a lot of dust, it'll be fine. But as you can see, there's more than a little bit of filing and a lot of dust flying out everywhere. So yeah, even if you do think it's just going to be a little bit of filing and there's not going to be a lot of dust, I definitely recommend pulling out your dust collector if you have one, just to prevent a situation like this where it ends up being a lot more filing and a lot more dust than you were expecting. I was finished filing, I pulled out my Perfect Black from Madame Glam and went in and did the little details on the cookies and cream and the mint chocolate chip ice cream cones. So I'm just doing all of this with a dotting tool. On the cookies and cream one here, I'm just starting out by doing some larger splotches for like those larger cookie pieces that are in cookies and cream ice cream, and then after that I have very little polish on my dotting tool, and I start like dabbing that around the entire nail to get that speckled look that cookies and cream ice cream has. And when I say I had very little polish on, I had very little polish on my dotting tool. As you can see here, it's like barely adding anything on, and I am kind of like going over some of the spots and spreading them out a little bit to really give that like cookies and cream look to this nail. And then to make it look even more realistic, I made sure to include some of those little black specks on that little like ruffled part there. And then once I was done with that, I cured it for 60 seconds. And then I basically did the same thing for the mint chocolate chip one, except for I didn't add in those larger splotches like I did for the cookies and cream, since mint chocolate chip usually doesn't have those like big pieces in there. They're all kind of pretty small. And then once I was done with that, I cured it for 60 seconds. Now I'm taking my matte top coat from LGN and top coating all of the nails. I do top coat the ice cream part as well as the cone part. Originally I wasn't going to apply any top coat because this Trippy Gel from Nails by Dev does cure without a sticky layer. And it kind of has like a somewhat matte finish to it. It's not like completely matte, but it's not like super shiny either. It's somewhere in between there. And I thought that was a good look for the ice cream cones, but because I did go in on those two nails and added on that black polish, I did want to top coat that to make sure that was sealed on. And because I was top coating those, I didn't want it to look weird across all of the nails and it be like each one looks a little different, and like you could tell what was top coated and what wasn't. So I just went ahead and top coated everything. After I got that applied, I did cure for 60 seconds. Also, when I applied to the cone and that little like ruffly bit, I did a super thin layer on there, and I also didn't try to like get in between the little crevices or anything. I just put it right on top, and what it covered is what it covered. If it didn't go down in there, it didn't really matter. I was also going back and forth trying to decide if I should do the ice cream scoop part matte or shiny, and I don't know, I felt like matte was gonna look better because I feel like ice cream isn't super shiny. I mean, if it melts, it kind of looks shiny because it's like melted and wet, but like when it's in the scoop form, like it's not shiny. So I just went with matte. And this is what they look like. I absolutely love these. I think they are so fun, especially for the summertime when it's like hot and you have the ice cream truck driving through. Except for in Arizona, I've never seen an ice cream truck come through during the summer. I've only seen it come through in the winter. Anyhow, I just think this is a super fun set. Even if you're doing like an ice cream party, or like if you're doing some sort of like ice cream costume for Halloween even. I honestly probably wouldn't wear this like as a daily set or anything. I would just do this for like something fun, like for a day, like I said, for like a party or like a costume or something. But I do think this is a super cute, fun set. It is a little bulky just because that, you know, whenever you do 3D stuff, it does tend to get a little bulky. So these are a little chunkier and a little bulkier than what they normally would look like if you were to just paint it on. But I still think they're super cute. This is just a super fun set, and like you can do all kinds of different ice cream flavors. You could even make up your own ice cream flavors if you wanted. Like I said, I think it's super fun and cute, especially for like the summertime. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.